Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? I know I did before I started this. I had tons of questions that I didn't have the answers to. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people, like to listen to? How do I make money off of it? Really, and all these answers were simply answered by Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use, and I cannot specify that enough. It is so easy, especially for somebody like me. I'm lazy, although I am tech savvy and I can do all this manually myself. I don't want to, so it's great. And now Anchor can match you up with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. So that means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. And, as people listen to this ad and listen to my podcast, I will get more and more money to this and, hopefully maybe be able to be self-efficient with this. So if you always want to start a podcast and make money, go to anchor.fm/start. It's anchor.fm/start to join me and a diverse community of podcasters already use Anchors. And can't wait to hear your podcast. Welcome to the Kaha Club. Roll up. Let's take a rip. Let me tell you the world is yours. Yeah, bish. And here he is, Kaha Club. This will be a regular episode, believe it or not, number 16. And I will have a MMA preview episode later this week, probably in a couple days, for Gustafsson versus Anthony Smith in Sweden, June 1st, I believe. Saturday coming up. Today is Memorial Day, Monday, 27th. Haven't been doing, these regular episodes mainly because I like doing the MMA podcasts a lot better. I guess not a lot better. They're a lot of fun, and I'm actually learning about fighters and things like that, and just the sport, and that's just been more interesting overall, and it's actually taken a decent amount of time. Just doing the little research I do, and then, writing it down and speaking it out, and then watching all the fights and taking notes and things like that during the fights. It's not like a second job, but it's almost like a part-time job that I've put on myself and not getting paid for. But it's cool. It's like, so is this as well, and this is, that's why I started it, just to do some shit and say some shit and talk about shit. But I've been, ever since I started off with the MMA podcast and previewing and recapping each UFC card, I've just learned a lot more, got in the sport a lot more. It's just been a lot more interesting, and has led me to stray away from the normal bullshitting, smoking weed, and talking about bullshit podcasts. And it's also just been a little harder, for the MMA podcast. I have there's set fights written down, notes, and gone through their past history. Sometimes I watch a little film on them if I haven't seen them fight before. So it's just a little more, I guess, formatted, and it's easier to get through, whereas this is more of kind of just me bullshitting, just talking off the top of my head, as much as I can and much as I can do, while, I guess, trying to be interesting, or I don't even know, interesting, because I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just doing it. I'm just shitting my thoughts out there into the internet, into the fucking world, for whatever reason. So yeah, it's just me, but gonna try. I hate saying things, and I hate saying I'm gonna try to do this or that, so I don't even know. I'm not even gonna say what I'm gonna try to do, or what I'm about to do, or should be doing, or about to try out, because I feel like once you say you're going to do this, or I'm going to try this, half the time you end up not doing it because you already said that you're going to try it. So that was almost saying that you're going to do it. In your brain, it kind of registers that you do it. So I'm not going to say what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to hop into this. I actually do have, in between these non-MMA episodes, I do keep a notes of things that I come across and I want to talk about, or I see on Twitter and piss me off. And, originally I started this so that I don't get and I've been off social media greatly since I've started these, especially the MMA ones, because I have to, as I said before, research and actually spend my downtime elsewhere. Instead of looking through fucking nonsense tweets, I'm looking at, okay, who's fighting this week, and have I fought or heard of them, what are they, what are their past records, that sort of thing. So now I haven't been on social media as much, but I still go on. I'm still human. I guess suck. But I still like to revel in the toxic bullshit. And, I still like to get dirty and roll around in the mud with the pigs. That's basically what Twitter is. It's just a bunch of insane people shouting out to the top of their lungs, thinking that exactly what I just said, literally just said. They're thinking that, and it's myself included, I'm not excluding myself from this, I'm guilty of it more than anybody, or not more than anybody, not sure how that saying goes, but when you're just tweeting and saying shit and you're like, oh, this needs to happen, well, it's not, you saying it's gonna happen doesn't mean it's going to happen. You're just saying it. While yes, words can carry volume and get people motivated and influenced and that sort of thing, obviously that happens on a daily occurrence as long as you have an open mind. But saying, I don't even have a good example, but just saying, I don't know, I'm going to do this, you're tweeting it, I'm going to go for a run. And then you go for a run and you only go for like 100 yards because you're like, oh, well, I didn't specify how long the run was. So, I completed by what I said I was going to do. So I'm done. I don't know. It's a very weird psychology and mind fuckedness. I think we kind of just mind fuck ourselves by saying we're going to do something when, not that you're not going to do it, but I feel like you have a greater chance not to do it if you continually tell people that you're going to do things. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be successful. I don't know. And if you say things so many times, eventually you believe in it. It just goes in your DNA and you believe it wholeheartedly and kind of becomes, your vision, your path, your mission, that one goal. But I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. That's the beauty of this, I guess. But nonetheless, I do have some things to talk about, mostly sports related, and I have some social commentary things that I might add at the end if I have time. Nothing crazy, but as far as the sports world, NBA finals are about to, I don't even know when they fucking start, because I haven't watched a single game of the NBA playoffs, because we already know who's going to win. I mean, the Warriors are going to win. Everybody knows that. It's just, are they going to sweep? Or is it going to be 5 games? Can the Raptors maybe make it 6? I don't know. Doubt it, but what's the first game? First game is Thursday this week. Dang, why do they have like 3-4 days in between games? Come on. They play Thursday and then not again until Sunday? I guess a night game, so Thursday, Friday is a travel day. So play Saturday. You only need 1 day off in between games. Come on. Now they have 2 days off. So we got to wait an entire week to know before the Warriors are going to be champion. I mean, we know already, but until it's final. I don't get it. play 82 games, sometimes back-to-back, things like that, but I don't know. Maybe it's like, oh, they need to be well-rested for the finals. Well, if they aren't, they're fucked already. It doesn't matter how much rest the Raptors have, they're not going to win. And, I was a little surprised that the Raptors beat the Bucs to make it to the finals, but I kind of wasn't. Kawhi Leonard's a beast. I forgot who said it. Max Kellerman. He's been saying more and more outrageous shit as time goes on. It seems like. I guess ESPN's kind of hurting too. I don't know. Maybe their show's not doing too well. I doubt it isn't though. They usually have the number one sports show on cable, at least during the mornings. That's First Take. But Max Kellerman said that he'd take, in his top 5, he wouldn't take James Harden. He'd have Steph, Kawhi, Giannis, LeBron. Fuck, who was the fucking 5th? KD. Right? It had to be KD. Yeah. And if I was being completely honest, I agree with him as far as that 5 and not have Harden in there. Maybe have Harden instead of Steph, but I'm not taking Harden over Kawhi Leonard. You know why? Because Kawhi Leonard plays both sides of the ball. He's excellent on the defensive side of the ball. Harden doesn't even try. I think when he does try, he does play good defense, but he doesn't play defense. All he does is, I was going to say he's kind of a ball hog, but, that's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm not taking Harden over Kawhi. I'm just not. You can't take him over LeBron either. You obviously can't take him over Giannis, and you obviously can't take him over KD. So the only person you take him out for would be Steph Curry. And yeah, Steph doesn't play good defense either. So maybe you could say Harden, but Harden's just like a worse version of Steph Curry on the offensive side of the ball. They both kind of just dribble around a lot, not kind of, but as far as Harden, he's more just isolation, dribble a lot and, either drive the basket or, cross you up, juke you out, get a step back 3, or a last second he'll dish it. Or he'll just shoot and foul you, but they'll call a foul on the defensive player. He'll jump into you and draw that foul. Like that's honestly his best skill, is drawing defensive fouls on the shot, especially 3-point attempts. That is his best skill. He's a good shooter. He's a good offensive player. He always can put the ball in the basket, but if you look at the numbers, he draws more fouls than anybody in the league ever, historically, and it's mainly because if he's defended, he jumps into the player. Defensive player has a right as both offensive and defensive player, and this is in the rule book. This is the language. You have the right, once you leave your feet all the way vertically straight to the ceiling. So you could jump as high as you want, and you're supposed to be guaranteed to be able to land in the same spot you jumped from vertically. If you move forward, if you're the offensive or a defensive player, if you move forward into the other person's vertical space, that is a foul. So the defensive person jumps vertically, but then, James Harden moves a couple, like half a foot forward, and he lands on the opponent's, ankle or foot or something, that is a foul on James Harden. But, because it happens so fast in real time, it's kind of hard to see that, and we aim towards protecting, the offensive player most of the time, especially if it's a superstar like James Harden. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying that's his best skill, is drawing the foul. Obviously, I can't guard him, so, I'm just talking shit from the outside. But I'd take Steph over Harden, as he's a way better passer. He's better at running an offense, setting that pace. He's a better shooter. He's a better ball handler. He's better in everything except getting fouled. And the only advantage Harden has over him is a little bigger. Maybe more athletically explosive. I'm not sure about quicker. Steph's probably quicker. Harden probably is, if they ran like a 40, his 40 would probably be faster than the game of basketball. It doesn't really matter too much. They're both kind of same athletically, speed-wise. So, I mean, Harden's not in my top 5 either. He's a top 5 caliber player, but if I had to pick a top 5, I'd pick exactly who Max Kellerman said. I don't even know why I brought that up to begin with. I'm already 15 minutes in, and I haven't even got through the first bullet point. But we got Warriors-Raptors in the finals, and Kawhi Leonard just looked like a beast versus the Bucs. And I saw the Bucs play live they played the Nets, but Giannis is just a freak. He literally takes 5 steps and he's down the court. Great passer, rebounder. I just don't think he just doesn't have that killer instinct yet. He doesn't have that, oh, this is my team, this is my time, it's time to shine. I didn't even watch any of these games, so I don't even know if that's how it played out. Maybe he did have that killer instinct, and then Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors were just better, which they obviously were. And Kawhi Leonard's been here, a bunch of times. He's been to the playoffs countless of times with the Spurs and Popovich, and now he's doing with the Raptors in his first season, and it's basically his show. And he's balling out. And I bet the Spurs are pretty upset right now. If they're not upset, I know Skip Bayless is upset, and he's pretty upset, and he's pretty butthurt, and it's because he's jealous. And it's like being mad at the Patriots because they win every year. That's all it is. And jealousy of success, especially when they used to be on your team. That's the finals. As far as other NBA news, the draft lottery happened a couple weeks ago, I guess now. I tweeted at the time once I heard, but the Knicks can't do anything right. And obviously they didn't have any say in how the lottery turns out. It's just it's literally a lottery. It's based on percentages, and they had the highest percentage, but they kind of got screwed, ended up getting the 3rd pick. I think the Pelicans got the number 1 pick. Memphis Grizzlies 2, Knicks 3, Lakers 4, Cavs 5. After that, I don't care. And I think the Pelicans had a very small chance of getting the number 1 pick, but now they got the number 1 pick. Still have Anthony Davis. Zion Williamson is obviously the number 1 projected overall pick, and, everyone was hoping, the Knicks would get that number 1 pick, and Zion would go there, and he'd reestablish that team to the prominence or whatever. But now the Pelicans have number 1 pick, so will they draft Zion, keep Anthony Davis? Will they trade the pick? And get somebody else and keep Anthony Davis? Will they trade the number 1 pick and Anthony Davis? Who knows? What if? Nah, they can't do that. I was gonna say, what if they traded the number 1 pick and Anthony Davis to the Lakers? Like, what? So then they'd have LeBron, Anthony Davis, number 1 pick, so Zion Williamson. And who else? And you just give them back everybody else. Just give the Pelicans Ingram, Kuzma, Ball, everyone. Keep Josh Hart. I don't know. I'm kind of tired of the Lakers at this point, honestly. Memphis, not sure what they'll do with the number 1 pick. Don't really care. So I guess the Knicks. So people are pointing towards R.J. Barrett as a possible option there at 3. If not, I hope Barrett falls to 4. I'd like him, see him as a Laker. Just because I'm a Duke fan, I like to see him. And Cleveland got 5. So, honestly, I don't know who the top picks are except for Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett. And I know there's somebody between those two. I know Barrett's probably 3 or 4, but I don't know who number 2 is. I think it's I think it's a guy named Porter. I can't remember. Fuck it. Yeah, so that's a draft lottery. We'll see how things turn out. And speaking of the Lakers, they finally decided their new coach after firing. Why can't I think of his name? Luke Walton. After firing him, after getting rid of Magic Johnson, not getting rid of him, Magic Johnson resigned, but essentially it looks like this is LeBron's organization now, and Jeannie Buss and the entire Lakers organization are going to do everything that LeBron wants to do, which is what happened in Cleveland, happened in Miami, now it's going to happen in LA, and I think the team's just going to get worse, honestly. But we'll see. But they fired Luke Walton, which I thought was a bad mistake. He was a good coach. Once he started working there with all the young guys and stuff, they had started to play better, especially on the offensive side of the ball, especially defensively too, and starting to mesh and come together as a team, and they improved each year. Then comes LeBron. And kind of just throws, even though LeBron's the greatest player in the world, kind of throws a monkey wrench in that whole development and gelling with each other. You have all these young, fragile personalities. They're just finding their way in the NBA and how their game works and develops and how they can grow and help out the team or any team. So you just throw LeBron in there. Now, Ingram's minutes are gone. Kuzma's are probably they were kind of good. But, a lot of people's minutes will be cut. And LeBron carries a lot of influence because he's the best player in the game, so power and a lot of fucking money, too. Even though the Lakers are, probably the most successful franchise as far as money-wise ever, and will be for a long time, because they live in Los Angeles. But, add LeBron on that they're worth doubles, instantly, because LeBron's basically as valuable as an entire organization up to this point, with all the money he's making through ads and things like that, just not alone his NBA salary, but he probably is worth more than, I'm about to look that up, Look up LeBron's net worth compared to NBA teams. They say $450 million. That's got to be way more than that. NBA teams net worth. I want to see the all. 20th annual NBA team evaluations. That's just for the year. I don't want that. Team values. Here we go. $4 billion. This is coming from Forbes. Actually, the Knicks are the highest. Ahead of the Lakers. I guess in New York. So what? The Grizzlies are the lowest. And they're at what? Well, they won't give me a total, you fucks. You just give us a graph. But it was about $1.2 billion. While LeBron's not worth $1 billion, if he went to the Grizzlies, they'd be worth $2 billion. They jump ahead of the teams like the Heat, 76ers, and be at the top of the top. I'm not doing any mathematical or statistical analysis to verify this, but this is just bro science, so it's right. And yeah, now they got Frank Vogel as the head coach for the Lakers, who used to coach for the Pacers back when LeBron was on the Heat, and they had what's that really tall dude's name? He doesn't even fucking play anymore. Roy Hibbert, when George Hill was on the team, and Paul George, and then Roy Hibbert. And they had problems with Roy Hibbert playing center. because he didn't have any big guys. Their big guy was Chris Bosh, and Chris Bosh was traditionally a stretch 4, not a 5. But now the game's changed so much. A guy like Roy Hibbert's kind of I don't want to say useless, but not as useful in today's NBA. You need a 5 that can go out and sometimes, has to guard the 1 because of a switch off a pick and roll. Hibbert can't do that. He'd drive by you every single time. Roy Hibbert probably couldn't guard me in a pick and roll. And I'm garbage, but I could run by him, I think. I don't know. He's also 7'3". So I could probably run by him and take a step and just swap my shit and be like, "Get out here, young man." He probably doesn't even sound like that, but if you're 7'3", you probably have a deep voice. If you play basketball, probably sound like Mutombo. But Frank Vogel is the new head coach of the Lakers, and Jason Kidd's actually going to be an assistant alongside him. I kind of like that just because it's Jason Kidd. I like Jason Kidd. I want to see him do good as a coach, just like I want to see Luke Walton do good as a coach. Whereas, Jason Kidd's a Hall of Fame player, though. Luke Walton he's an NBA player. Good mind, but Jason Kidd's first stint in coaching with the Bucs didn't really work out too well, and I think he went somewhere else for a little bit. I can't really remember, and he might actually started out with somebody else before that. So maybe he'll find a footing in LA and with the fucking Showtime, and it's not even Showtime. It's just drama land. That's all it is. It's just fucking Hollywood. It's all fucking drama. Unless something crazy happens this offseason, a trade or something with those picks, I don't see the Lakers being good again. I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs. But we'll see. Staying on the NBA train, I did this out of order than I wanted to when I wrote it down, but fuck it. John Beilein, who used to be the Michigan head coach, is now going to coach the Cleveland Cavaliers for 5 years. No, not 5 years. I don't have wrote down how long. But so he's moving from the University of Michigan up to the NBA, so we'll see how his game translates. Can't go any worse for him. So as long as you win like one more game, or even if you're at the same wins as you were the year before, you can't really say it's the coach. But you can say that the coach didn't improve things, but at least it didn't get worse. But he can't really get worse. So it'd be cool to see him go from the college ranks up to the pro. And I guess going in the same line with the Michigan, Juwan Howard, who's infamous or famous for, I don't even know what the word infamous means. It means like anti-famous, basically, to where it means famous, but you're known for being bad. So he's not infamous, but he's famous. Juwan Howard's famous for being in the Fab Five team, the first 5. Was also at Michigan. The Michigan Fab Five with Jalen Rose, Juwan Howard, and Chris Carter. Is it Chris Carter? Did I just fucking fuck his name up? I bet I did. Chris Webber, right? I don't know. Yeah, I can't believe I just said, who the fuck is Chris Carter? I don't know. Chris Webber. Jesus, I know I fucked that up. As soon as I said it, I was like, that's not right. My head, marijuana, stuff like that, makes it go weird sometimes. Makes it do weird and things, But Juwan Howard, original Fab Five member, was the first college basketball team that started 5 freshmen, and they're fucking amazing. Almost won the championship that year. If I can't remember correctly, they they also had Mark Jackson. I feel like they either lost in the finals or the semifinals. I don't really remember. I just fucking learned too many things and over the years, and it just comes in and out. It's back there somewhere in the back of my head, but it doesn't want to come out. Who did the Fab Five lose to? Oh yeah, whoever called that timeout. Oh, that wasn't the championship. Oh yeah, fuck. I remember now. Chris Webber called that timeout. Chris Carter Webber called that timeout with like 11 seconds left. Yeah. When the team was down by 2, but they didn't have any timeouts remaining, so they got a technical foul. Basically clinched the game for UNC. Fuck, I remember now. Fuck, that sucks. But Juwan Howard, who was in the Fab 5 team, went on to have a successful NBA career too, and he was assistant coach for Miami Heat for a little bit there, and he was like a player coach for a little bit. You know, he was on salary as a player, but he never played, and he kind of just sat the bench. Well, not kind of. He sat the bench. Always wore a suit, I think, too. You know, was never dressed to play. He might have been in his first couple of years, but towards the end, you know, when LeBron was there and stuff, he was there to essentially mentor and be an assistant coach, player coach. But he was an assistant for Miami, and now he's going to be a head coach over at, you know, his alma mater, University of Michigan. He's got a 5-year deal. I don't know how much money, but if you just type it into Google, it'll tell you details emerge from Julian Howard's contract at Michigan from thespurn.com, whatever the fuck that is. Blah, 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 blah. 5-year deal. It doesn't say. John Beilein, who just left for Michigan, was the 10th highest paid coach in the country. So they've, according to it's been a 5-year deal, annual salary of $2 million per year. So nice, they'll get about $2 million per year. Yeah, so, yeah, that's good shit. We'll be there for 5 years, $2 million. That's nice. Congrats to him, and I'll definitely look forward to see how he does it as a head coach. Especially at his alma mater, man. You should be able to get some good-ass fucking recruits. Everyone knows the Fab Five if you know basketball. So that's dope. Talked about the lottery. What else we got next? Now switching gears over to another sport, and one of the major sports, the NFL. Not too much news going on in the NFL. Have been some contracts, guys retiring, things like that. As far as my favorite team, the Eagles, defensive end Chris Long retired. He's only there for 2 or 3 years, but he'll always be an Eagle. Won a Super Bowl with us, and you know, was a very good pass rusher, especially on third downs. The last couple years, and you know, he'll do very successful in transitioning out of football life. He's already has like his own podcast and appears every now and then on like some of the ESPN shows and talk shows and things like that. You know, obviously his dad is Hall of Famer Howie Long, and he also hosts I forget what network that is, but you know, he's on that pregame show with Terry Bradshaw and Michael Strahan and Jimmy Johnson. So it's, you know, and obviously Kyle Long as well, who was actually a guard, I believe. But, you know, he's had a good career. Won't be a Hall of Fame career like his pops, but had a successful career. You know, he made, I guess, headlines. Wasn't this? I think it was this past year he donated his entire NFL salary to helping build wells, I believe. I forget why he did it, but I believe it was to help to build wells in Africa. And this organization he has as far as setting up drinkable wells for people in in Africa, which is great. So he'll do just fine outside of the game. Obviously, he'll have some money saved up. Seems like he's smart with his money if he donated his entire NFL salary. Has a speaking career and stuff going for him, so he'll be fine. And congrats to him. And enjoy his time with the Eagles. It's gonna suck not having him on those pass rushing downs, especially 3rd and 15, 3rd and long, and those crucial game clutching moments. It seemed like he always came through at the perfect time, perfect sack. Great player. Just piggybacking off the Eagles, got word, I think it was about last week, that Carson Wentz, they've started reporting to OTAs, off-season activities, things like that for the NFL. Training camp's probably right around the corner. Let me look that up. NFL training camp date. I probably already got it. NFL releases training camps for all 32. You know what I could do is go to a fucking Packers training camp or preseason practice. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Philly starts 7/25, so not till July actually. So they got a couple months, but they already start doing like OTAs and off-season workouts and that sort of thing. Green Bay. 725 St. Norbert College in DePury, Wisconsin. Where is that? I'm going to look that up. So I'm going to an Eagles-Packers game, which I can't fucking wait. That'll be fucking hype. Where's this St. Norbert College? Fucking 2 hours. I don't know if I'm trying 2 hours to see a fucking training camp. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I'm bored. I mean, we'll be going on for a couple months. We'll be like, I'm kind of bored this weekend. Or, I don't know. I don't even know if they have practices during the weekend. But I'll keep my eye on that. Maybe that's something I'll do. But now that I said it, I probably won't. It's not even something I really want to do. It's just an idea. So, Wentz is fully cleared for the offseason, that sort of thing. So, I hope his knee stays healthy. He stays healthy, period. And, not that he had a bad year last year. He was just injured, and he still looked a little rusty with his knee after that first injury, and then I believe it hurt his back towards the end of the season. So that's why Foles had to come in again. I don't even know who our fucking backups are anymore. Who's the backup quarterback? We got Nate Suffield. Fuck yeah. No, this is all old shit, man. But as far as, there's a little more NFL news, kind of just, so anyway, I can sort this by position. Oh, yep, you can. Wide receiver. So we got Wentz, Suffield, Cody Kessler. I know we've signed somebody. Clayton Thorson from Northwestern, rookie. Must have drafted him or signed him over the offseason. So not really an established veteran as a backup, so hopefully Wentz stays healthy this season. And yeah, he still looked good last season. He just wasn't as good as he was the season before. Kid's legit, has a legit football mind, knows how to read defenses and scan the field for the open receiver. Just hope he doesn't get gun shy after the two kind of serious injuries. As far as other NFL news, Julian Edelman got a contract extension, 2 years added on to his current deal with an $8 million signing bonus. So as soon as he signed on the dotted line, boom, $8 million's wired in your bank account. That's pretty dope. And up to $19 million total on that new extension. So you can it's probably set at like 12 or 15, but there's probably additional incentives. If you get a Pro Bowl or you get 100 receptions, you get an extra mil, extra 500K, whatever. There's no greater motivator than money. And NFL knows that. Professional sports know that. Staying on that train, Ndamukong Suh signed a 1-year, $9.25 million deal with the Buccaneers. So when I originally heard that, I would be like, oh shit, that's me a crazy combination with him and Gerald McCoy. But it comes to turn out, the Buccaneers end up releasing Gerald McCoy, so they're replacing him with Suh. I'm not sure why they decided to do that. Maybe that's something I can quickly look up here. They almost traded him, which they probably should have. And he had 3 years remaining on his contract, $13 million. Before he's off the McCoy account. So it was definitely just a cap thing. So they just signed what they think probably a good player. They probably didn't want to pay him another 3 years for anywhere from 10 to 15 million. Now they're paying a guy 1 year, they know for a fact, for $9 million. So I think they just saved money there, and they save money where they can. So we'll see where McCoy ends up signing up. He says he wants to go for a contender. He wants to win. So we'll see how that turns out. Now switching to another major sport, MLB, baseball, specifically my Red Sox. Literally got these 2 notifications today. Pedrioa saying he is unsure if he'll play again. He's going to take a break from his rehab assignment and just concentrate on healing up his knee up and ponder his future. So I think it's very possible that we've seen Pedrioa, even though he hasn't really played this season, we've seen the last of him. He's my favorite player. He's been my favorite player since he came on the scene. Since he won Rookie of the Year his first year in the league, and then MVP in a World Series. So I think that's how it happened. I think 2003 he was the Rookie of the Year, and I think 2004 he was MVP, and that's when we won the World Series. I'd have to look that up, though. Dustin Pedrioa, rookie year was 2006. Yeah, because we won 2007. Yeah, so he won the MVP, or Rookie of the Year in 2006. Second year, won MVP in the World Series. That's what it was. So, ever since like rookie year, he was my favorite player, and I have his jersey. I have his jersey and Brian Dawkins' jersey. Those are the only 2 jerseys of other men that I have. And I don't know if I'll probably end up getting another Red Sox jersey and Eagle jersey sometime in my future, but I'll always keep that Pedroia's jersey. Even if he never plays again, I'll wear it. If I go to a game at Fenway, or if they happen to be in town versus wherever I'm at the time. And I don't know if I don't think he'll end up being a Hall of Famer. He hasn't really played the past couple years, but if there is a Red Sox Hall of Fame, which I'm pretty sure there is, I'm pretty sure like every team has their own Hall of Fame, he'll definitely be in the Red Sox Hall of Fame. He'll be a guy when it's all said and done as far as my life and my existence. When I'm 80 or whenever I fucking die, let's just say for argument's sake I pass away at 99 on my deathbed. When I'm 80 and stuff, and I'm talking to my kids, and they know I'm a Red Sox fan, and maybe they care about baseball. Maybe they don't, or maybe I don't have kids. I'm just talking with my brother. And I'll be like, you remember that guy, Dustin Pedrioa? He was my favorite, man. He's the first jersey I ever had. Fucking rookie of the year, first year he came on. Next year, fucking MVP, won the World Series. That wasn't the World Series. They broke the curse. What was it? Red Sox win World Series and break curse. I'm pretty sure that was 2004. Yeah. The curse of the Bambino. Yeah. But, yeah. You know, he'll be one of those almost like folklore legends as far as Red Sox fans go. He might get lost in mainstream knowledge over time, and, you know, kids that are coming up today won't know who Dustin Pedrioa is. You know, guys my age obviously do, and that are at least baseball fans. People that, you know, mainstream people probably don't know who he is. They probably just know Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, and, you know, that's it. You know, if you look at people name their favorite baseball players, most of them are retired. You know, most people name Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez and most popular MLB players 2019. This is just for currently, so that's not what I'm looking for, but somebody did a poll. I don't remember who it was, and it's just because I heard somebody say they did a poll that somebody did, so I don't even know if it's true, but I totally believe it, that the most popular baseball players in America are retired, even though I know, you know, most of the top guys, and, you know, actually all the top guys, and so do people that play baseball and follow the game, as far as people that don't, and kind of just like, oh yeah, I like the Yankees, or I like the Red Sox because they're not the Yankees, or I like my hometown. I don't know, but it's sad to see that that Pedroia might not play again. Yeah, I guess I'm getting a little sad. I'm getting a little nostalgic thinking about me in 60 years, contemplating about Dustin Pedroia, and be like, man, you know, he was so good. It's a bummer that his last couple of years are just injury riddled, and yeah. Won the World Series last year, so I mean, whatever. He gets a ring, you know. When it comes down to it, it'll say he's a 3-time world champion. I think that's correct right now, even though he didn't play. And I guess even more sad news, Bill Buckner died today, actually dies at age 69. And I know there's probably some Boston fans out there that are happy he died because of the old Bill Buckner play where Red Sox had the Game 6-1 of the World Series. Excuse me. Battling dementia. Fuck, that sucks. Bill Buckner play. When was that? What year was that? All the news are saying. Game 6, 1986 World Series against the Mets. Yeah. So, essentially, the Red Sox had the Game 1. There's 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, I believe. I can't remember the exact scenario. And, you know, he was typically DH'd, but they brought him in to DH, so they left him on at first base, you know, just for that inning. And a dribbler was hit to him. It did have a funky bounce, but went right between his legs, and the runner that was on ended up scoring, and they ended up losing the game. So I think that from then forward, everyone was like, oh, the curse of the Bambino is real. But, you know, that's why I said some Red Sox fan might be happy that he passed. But if you are, you're a fucking asshole, and I hope you're not a Red Sox fan. I just hope you're was going to say, I hope you die of dementia, but I don't hope that. I don't hope that on anybody. Even my worst enemy that I don't have. So RIP Bill Buckner. I'm sorry that you'll forever be remembered as the guy that booted that ball in Game 6 of the 1986 World Series against the New York Mets. Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. Is he Hall of Famer? I don't know. He almost had 3,000 hits. He is a Hall of Fame. Oh, he's a high school Hall of Fame. So he's not. Not in the Hall of Fame, but that play will be in the Hall of Fame. I'm sure they probably have an exhibit of it. Hall of Fame's pretty dope. Went there when I was 10 and 12. Barely remember it, but it's a pretty dope place. If I'm ever around there again, I'll try to go see it again. So RIP Billy B. On that note, I got 10 minutes left, but it is Memorial Day, so I just want to thank the countless men and women that have served the country, lost their lives, serving this country to protect the freedoms that we take for granted in every single day. I take the freedom of walking down the street, or being able to go to Walmart or any grocery store and be able to buy food. And, the shelves are usually never empty. And yeah, there are some problems in this country, in this world overall, but all in all, we live in a very safe country. There's obviously some rough spots, rough neighborhoods, and they've existed there for decades, and I think we really need to start addressing those places. We can't just say, pull it up by your bootstraps, that, and make it the way I did, son, with hard work and by rolling up my sleeves. Well, not everyone can do that. While I think that is good advice, if you're in a shit situation, the best thing to do is fucking, roll up your sleeves and get to it, but you can only go so far. Everyone starts on a different point on the map. Some people start at neutral, some people start at -10, other people start at +30. That's just the game of life. And I don't know if you played the game board life, and I actually kind of want to play now, but who am I going to play with? Myself? That's just talk about dementia right there. But there's different paths, at least for especially starting out. Sometimes people go to the college path, and then boom, you're boosting your career, and kind of fast. Even though you get riddled with debt early on, and that's a whole other discussion, you get started. In your professional career, you get a little of a salary bump just for the fact that you say, I have a degree from an accredited 4-year institution. Other people start out of high school. Some people drop out of high school and go to the military. Other people, aren't able to go to school because their mother passed when they were 10 years old, and they just had to take care of their family and, move from, foster care and, living with aunts and uncles and grandmas, things like that, and not really ever having people watch out for you and tell you how the world is, and hopefully shaping your mind in a positive way. People that start out like that and experience that, they everyone gets influenced by the environment and the people they're around, and the circumstances they just happen to be born into, and it sucks that people are randomly born into, not randomly, obviously each person that's born is conceived through sexual intercourse, blah, blah, blah. But as far as the person that is born, I didn't choose to be Kyle Porter that was born in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and now I chose to be here now and do the things I have now. But for the most part, so when I was 0 days on Earth to I don't even know when I started making decisions for myself, 12, 14, 15, 16, 21, who knows? So we're all products of our environment and circumstance and what surrounds us, and that's what shapes our ideal and our vision of what the world is and what, you think that the street you grew up on is how every kid's street grew up on, but that's just not the case. And when you start to meet more people that come from different backgrounds, you see where they came from and things like that, you start to open your perspective and see that, oh, okay, everything's not equal. Everyone doesn't start out on the same level playing field. And while we can only do so much so that they do, we should at least account for the neighborhoods that are continually decade after decade after decade are just crime-riddled with crime and I don't even want to say drugs, but because I don't think drugs are essentially bad. I think it's how much you use it, and people manipulate drugs and they end up being bad. I drink sometimes, and then there's my neighbor or somebody else, he has, they're an alcoholic and they can't stop drinking. Whereas I have one beer and I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Or I didn't really want that beer, but I already opened it, so I'll finish it. Happened to me yesterday. I was like, I'm going to buy some beer. Memorial Day weekend, sunny. Let's have a beer. Or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Bought a 6-pack. Had one. I had a couple sips. I'm like, I don't really want this. But I already opened it, so I finished it. And that's how a man does it. That's how a man finishes one beer. Fucking pussy. I definitely got sidetracked. But all in all, we live, yes, we need to address those communities that decade after decade are just the same and may continually get worse. Why aren't resources being pumped to that environment? We have an excess of resources, and people don't want to give away the resources. Like, I don't want to give away my extra $100 because, I'll give away an extra $100. It'd be like, oh, this will help this family, help them eat for the month. Then show me that family, let me talk to them, get to know them, and be like, oh yes, I'll give you $100. Like, you definitely need this. But if you just say, oh, I'm gonna raise your taxes 10%, for what? You say it's gonna be for this, but what's it really going to? It's going to administrative fees, most likely. And what are that? But yes, there are some things fucked in this country. But we live in a beautiful country because we get to sit here and complain about it. Complaining isn't a right. It's more of a product. You don't have the right to complain in nature. I guess you do. There's no laws in nature that says you can't be a bitch. But, I guess there is. It's kind of survival of fitness. If you just sit around and complain, eventually, someone's going to take your shit, and kill you. That's how it is in nature. If you're a fucking lion and you're just sitting around, growling that you don't have enough food, well, guess what? You're going to starve to death. While other lions are eating, getting their food, praying, killing shit, and eating, surviving, while you're bitching. So, we live in a beautiful world where now lions, in a metaphorical sense, I'm saying lions are people are not lions, but in metaphorical sense, for the example I'm talking about, now that complaining lion can be like, oh, I don't have enough food, I don't want to run, it's hot today. Well, now, to survive, they gotta just, walk down the street and get some food. They just gotta buy it from that'd be like if you have a lion and you're in the fucking Sahara and, by the watering hole where all the animals live and, work and drink and shit, that there's just a gazebo or a setup for dead antelope. They're just serving raw antelope meat there. It's just a kiosk. Obviously, and that wouldn't survive, wherever that kiosk is, would get torn apart by the real lions, but the complaining lions. And, now the savage lions have been docile so that they don't just go in there and just ravage in the real world. But, I don't even know what I'm bitching about right now. But essentially all I'm saying is we live in a beautiful society where we're allowed to bitch and complain because because our military veterans and the people keeping us safe all around the world are working extremely hard to ensure that we are allowed the freedom to continually bitch about the things that they are doing and we know nothing about. And yeah, if we know more, we'd probably bitch even more and complain. But it's like, do you want to know more? I don't know. That's a lot of question. And then what? Once you know more, what are you going to do with it? You're going to complain some more? You're going to just talk some shit some more? And yeah, I'll do that. I can do that. But anybody can talk shit. Which I guess isn't a good selling point for my podcast. But, it's just what it is, man. It's just what it is. So I think anyone that has ever served, lost their life, even those that haven't lost their life, obviously thank you for your service. And especially the men and women that have lost their lives. So I'm just going to keep repeating myself. My dad did serve for a little bit in the Navy. Didn't really talk about it too much. I don't think he was a combat infantryman or anything like that. I believe he, at least what he's told me, worked on ships and things like that. But I also thought he never drank ever, and then one day it came out of nowhere. He said he drank a whole bottle of tequila every day when he was serving. They'd be on the ships all day, and at night or whatever, they'd be allowed to dock and hang out. And he said he drank a fucking bottle of tequila every night. So that's why he doesn't ever drink now. So no, and more he'll tell me if he actually ever shot and killed anybody, but I don't think so. And if it was, I wouldn't really want him to tell me, so that would just scare me more. But all in all, I love him. I love you if you're listening. I love everybody, and thank everyone that's ever served and everybody that's alive. Love you. Bye.